Alrighty, you all, we have a 4v4 on the beautiful city of Tarsus, the second battle of Enor's mod. On this 4v4, we got a few familiar faces and some additional ones. We're going to start with the attackers. I'm going to just list out who they are and some of the interesting units that get added into it, into the game. Though I can't see the interesting one for Nervii and Rome, which makes me a little sad. We do have Nice Rice. Let's take a look at the little shitters. It is a Rise of the Republic unit, that's why it looks like garbage, and it is a low tier one. Because only the high tier units in Rise of Republic look good. We have Nervii here, brought to us by Mr. I Like Trains. We can see his Celtics, though he is a very interesting spear-based unit that we are going to take a look at later. Smart Hawk is brought to us by Galatia. Galatia doesn't have anything interesting, I know. They're just boring vanilla boys. But we also have Caucus. Guess what? They're boring vanilla boys as well. Caucus was actually brought to us by Pump Ellie Fan 08. Interesting guy here. It was his first multiplayer battle, if I'm not mistaken. The other one we have has had very few times he's been with us. So it is interesting. We're testing out some new blood, but on the defense, we have Galatia, or not Galatia, Gaty, brought to us by, as I said, the other one, the Ninja Keeper. I've seen him around once or twice before, never really played with him. He has been a fun boy to play with. Though it's not a new unit, it's an interesting unit that we don't normally see. The Bow Horseman. Look at that facial hair. Hold on. Hold on here. Look at that. Look at that party boy. Alright. Next up, let's go with Joe. He's brought Carthage. Carthage is interesting in this mod. A lot more mercs. I think we should have a unique merc, maybe, hopefully. No. But he does have Samnites, Scutari, and even a Carthaginian cavalry, which... interesting. All the same, as well as a nice little African Indian war elephant. Now, when it comes to these boys here, we have Nova Carthage. Nova Carthage is very similar to a mix of Desert Rome and Carthage. Libyans, Libyan hoplites, or Libyan infantry, Libyan hoplites, some heavy Numidian skirmishers, and of course some Numidian riders. A mercenary Numidian noble cavalry, and some African elephants. Now, Sarmatia, who is brought to us by Honoris, has the most breakdown. He's got Sarmatian Band here. These are an interesting unit. They're called Daughters of the Steppe. They're limited. They're very fancy female Oathsworn unit. And of course, by far, the best unit I have seen. Well, they do also have Sarmatian Heavy Archers, which are a little fancy archery unit. But the best unit by far that no one else can ever beat is, of course, the Shadows of the Steppe. Guerrilla-based cataphracts. That's right. It needs to be in every mod for it to be a success. Because nothing screams balance like guerrilla cataphracts. But that is all for the intro. It is on the shorter side. I just wanted to go over the faction of Sarmatia mostly. Just take a look at some of their units, as well as some of the other boys here. I do love how Sarmatia all has they're all gingers. They're all gingers. Because even the guys without beards, you can kind of see the hair sticking out there. Every last one of them has no soul. So that means killing them counts for nothing. But let's get this party started. Alrighty, let's get this party started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the map up here. For this game, for the next two replays, you let me know if you like the map up, especially because I now have the ability to draw. I learned from Joe that there's a way to change the scripts, and apparently there's a Halloween mode hiding in the scripts. Yeah. Interesting enough. But coming out here, we got some Iberian Cav and Bow Horsemen kind of fiddling around while these guys continue to stay hidden a bit deeper in, so they're not accidentally caught. And I definitely did not accidentally go through the whole video thinking I was recording and was not recording. That would not be something I'd do. However, we do got the Rory pushing back that Iberian cavalry. Ooh. And I think I did a pretty decent commentary on it, and you're just never going to hear it. Okay, Iberian cavalry now trying to flow this way, trying to scare with the hillmen. But they are falling back just because that noble cab would have been able to pincer them if they committed. Here we do have the Libyans popping in because this is all siege towers. All the tortoises are committed to this flank, which is interesting. It is an interesting strategy. I probably would have used 4 here, committed to this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot. Then use those 3 to help these 2 out. But I don't know what conversations went on with the defenders in regards to that. But it looks like pushing up, preparing first, it looks to be a pretty decent amount of Colchis and some Galatia. I believe this was Colchis' first game on multiplayer, and he did a great job, so I do hope to see him again in other fight nights. Iberian is flowing left, just trying to find a spot to maneuver. And we got a little worried because we do see a siege tower over here. And this is another reason I'm keeping this map open, is I do have to jump around a bit. So we're worried that something might be hiding here. So there's the shadow of the steps ready to go take out whatever we need to. Over here, the Libyans are moving in to make sure they're fully on the wall by the time they get here. They're going to be pretty close to it. I think they are going to make it fully onto the wall just because that middle one is using both of them. This one's pretty much fully on the wall now. And I have brought my favorite range, those heavy Numidian skirmishers. But Rory now moving up. Our boy here, if you saw last week's video, he was the Yams Vikings, and he shot the shit out of Joe's, who was Carthage's Celtic warriors, or Massilia's Celtic warriors. Or he was Massilia, he was now Carthage. So he got a bit of revenge against that Rory right there. Bow horseman teasing around. Now, that's not going to be good. Ooh, no, he's only lost 10, so that's not bad. I believe he is about to just lose a shit ton of his boys soon. Because these noble blood are going, so he's going to have to cut up to be safe. No, he's going to back off. Perfect. Over here, the Libyan hoplites are fighting the hillmen. Javelins are beginning to get ready to fire. And crushing them. Now we have he is preparing here. What do we have here? Bow horseman's continuing to harass, just moving up and down across there. This one tries to break, just to avoid the other cavalry. Over here, we do find a guerrilla swordsman. I'm not going to engage that fight because it is, though it says it's a low fight, I don't want to be hit by javelins. So I am going to retreat towards the rest of my cavalry that he doesn't know about. Over here, though, the Libyans are not putting up the best of fight. They are taking a tough fight against the Galatian swords. They haven't started firing. This one's fired a few, 17 kills. Artillery's starting to come in. Ooh. This one's stuck in the middle, 46 kills, is doing a pretty good job. These Libyans, not so much, but they are a cheap, nice holding unit that I love. But if these hillmen's break, it's a bit nicer towards my Libyans, which do just rout. And a fun thing that's about to happen is, so as I'm pulling back, we're not thinking of the possibility of another guerrilla troop. And this unit was able to stay hidden all the way through here. He's no longer hidden, he's visible. However, Glacio has been prepared for my Numidians to come in, and don't see this. I want you to know, these guys were at 0 kills initially. They're at 120. They're going to pretty much get a ton of kills off of that one charge that just saved my general's life. Over here, we have the Galatian Swords now being targeted by heavy Numidian skirmishers. They stop for a second. More of these guys. They're firing right on into the Cartleys now. Basically, I'm trying to use all the ammo of this unit as fast as possible, so I can go help against those Galatian Swords. And a Cartley is a great target for that. 70 kills. This unit of Numidian skirmishers is out at 96. This bow horseman got a nice little break through the line, so now he's going to start looking for weaker units. However, well, that's not the best. That's a spear brother. And then these are all the Gallic hunters. As well as these guys, which are really, really scary anti-cavalry. You're going to see how scary in this fight. Now, there was one misplay at the end of the game by us on the defender side, which probably cost us the game. One big one. And I would say probably a more minor one, which was on my side, and then the other one was another one of the defenders. But I'll let you know when it's happening, and you'll see what I mean. I will say the person who did commit the mistake also probably MVP'd with one of his units so hard that it's not even funny. Iberian cavalry's still alive at this point. Nice. They're just sitting back there. Carthaginian cavalry just flown around, just trying to mess with them, delay as much of this attack as possible, because this attack is pretty heavily charged. And if we can eliminate a lot of the units here before the other two attacking can get in, that would be perfect. Numidian skirmishers up to 91, they're just finishing off the Galatian Swords thanks to the aid of the arrows. These Numidian skirmishers are holding the middle. They're at 104 now. Sarmatian warband coming on in. Archers providing fire, and we got some Libyans moving in. Though they are starting to take some fire from the artillery. Which is doing a great job, by the way. We have 27 here. This one's up to 60. Holy shit. With that done, that helps alleviate a lot of the pressure on this Sarmatian warband. Now that they're not being rear charged, they'll come back up. But my big plan with these guys is hopefully to get them over here without being spotted and seeing if I can commit into the Galatian front. However, we'll see how well that goes. But over here, the Celtics for Nervii have finally made it in, and the last unit of Riarii has broken that. One of them did end up breaking to just arrow tower fire. A very cheap, very low morale unit. My Libyans are going to move up to help make sure we hold this gate, at least neutralize it. While late Libyans are being the front line, while we have a unit of mercenary axes and Falksmen to help. But the Shadows of the Steppe are kind of just teasing around, trying to keep them from moving in onto this flank, because if we can continue to engage them on our right-hand flank, that'd be great for us. Another volley. 60. That was a nice hit. Holy shit, that just ripped into my Libyans. How are you looking? They just got 22 kills off of that. Libyans now moving in, trying to cut into these Galatian swordsmen in the back. As this Galatian swordsman breaks. Not very accurate, thank God. But over here, the Foxes have 16 kills. They're about to get a charge into these Celtics. Late Libyans are doing their job of holding. They're not going to win that fight just because of how offensively tough those Celtics tend to be. But that was nearly 16 more kills. These Foxes are still going to keep trying to get a cycle charge. However, these got through a gap, which was really nice of them. Really strong move. And axes are forced to pull away to try to help deal with this, which does leave a pretty big gap into the defense and hopefully into one of the archers for the attackers. I will say, yeah, that bow horseman who discovered all the Gallics, that's where they lie. The other one is still just hiding out. Libyans coming in to try to silence these Falxes. These Falxes are going to come around and try to help out the Axe warriors. They're at 57 kills. Let's see what they get to in that fight against the Riorii. Holy shit, they've just gotten 20 kills. 30 kills. That's insane. These Libyans are now surrounded, but that's fine. They're going to help hold this little area like a little island. While over here, Cartleys are winning. Escalation swords took some damage. I will say there was a charge here. Hippeas did not get a very good charge off. So the Shadows of the Steppe walk away full health. They actually backed off at the last moment, which is bad. Carthaginian cavalry coming in. About to hit them hard, however. It becomes dangerous for them to commit to that fight, so he's going to back off here, just because of all the cavalry coming in. Though with that hit, it is a rear charge that scared them. Now the Iberians are going to come out and just harass this side over here. And with that harassment, it's going to allow the Shadows of the Steppe to move in. Hopefully, Colchis is not paying as much attention. He's focusing over there, where the Iberians are, because these guys are exhausted and they're going to get caught up in a fight. Now, those Galatians just lost a shit ton. Holy shit. But they're not going to be able to get away. They're exhausted. They're a very heavy shock cav to the heavy melee. So I'm going to commit 2 Numidian riders to help him. At the request. In Orz's request, of course. 151 here. Dude, I want you to know neither of these skirmishers had over 100 kills when they started. But this Sarmatian warband is trying to hold off against the Cartley. The Iberian did get into all of these here, and he's at 53 kills. Really nice. Helping to slow up that next part of the assault so units can reconsolidate. Over here, the Numidians get on in. These are not going to get crazy kills. They're just here to help. We're trying to just weaken as much of that noble blood cavalry as we can. Try to eliminate as much cavalry. Because as many fast movers as we can eliminate is the best. And allow those Shadows of the Steppes to get out, because even at that weakened state, that charge is going to do a ton of damage. Now, I am maneuvering my cavalry while everyone is busy, and they don't get noticed. So they're going to manage to sneakily take right into here. Not the best charge on the Shadows of the Steppe. But Hippeas, I think, does get down to 50. Numidians breaking in this fight, 22 kills and 44. But that noble blood cav is down to 35. But one final charge of the Numidian riders. Dropping them down to 31 and 30. They're down to 30 men. Really nice for us. Over here, the Libyans and the skirmishers are still holding out. And this fight, the corner has been won. Those Cartleys are dropping down now. But over here is not looking as good. Scutari coming on in, fighting those Celtics. But those Ensis Principes are coming on in and trying to break. Axe Warriors here. There's a unit of Foxmen here that's untouched. That one's not going to do as well as that first one, which is sad. But archers coming in to try to break any stalemates we've got. Well, they're heavily using their archers over here to try to break some of our units. These Cartleys are now surrounded. Skirmishers on one side, skirmishers on the other, with some Libyan infantry support. Since this tower is back under our control, we do have a nice corner tower here. Numidian riders come back, and they almost got very lucky. They were going to sneak behind and hit into those archers, but a full general retreat gets called here. So I decide, you know what, commit into the legionnaires. Because that's all we can really do there. They don't get any kills, but they do hold them up a bit, allowing the towers to kill a few more. Just unfortunate timing. But the Gallic hunters are moving along the flank, getting ready for their counter batteries. Their counter fire doing some damage. Let's see what we got over here. Galatia protecting because of the Carthaginian cavalry. But with this full maneuver here, basically we need to consolidate this front, eliminate the enemies here, and come here and support the holding of this front. Normally we would want to hold on this tight spot, but if you can see here, there's 5 Triarii, including the general. A tight fight like that is going to benefit the Triarii far more than us, because the Triarii are monsters. And well worth their price. I think it's like 1,600 gold. But with that Cartley dropping, I'm going to be heading off the wall and heading towards the consolidation, while those 2 Sarmatians and the heavy archers help that Cartley out. Well, the issue is these were perfectly positioned for this phalanx right here. Not so much for this one. So, more maneuvering is going to have to be done, and I'm going to have to get over here. Luckily, these hills will cover me. But I think my general is going to come around, see what's happening with this guerrillas, and see if they can eliminate them if they're not paying attention. While Libyans are coming around. The first unit of Triarii is in, already at 30 kills with no losses. These Axe Warriors are in. These Falksmen are going to try to do as much as they can to help try to get around here. And hopefully like that. If you can see that maneuver. But those Ensis Principes are going to try to stop them. Those Ensis Principes are losing a lot, but that unit of Triarii. The other thing with the Triarii, they all have Pila. Pretty sure most of the Roman Republic army has Pila, but the first of the 2 Libyans are going to cover this flank to try to help out. That's consolidated, so these units are going to start pulling off. Elephants maneuvering around. So we learned that he's no longer over here, so we assume he's somewhere hiding in there. Indian elephant still hiding in the back. 52 kills here. How was that ballista? 77, nice. But now there's going to be 3 Sarmatians here to fight that Cartley, so we're like, oh, it should be fine. It's not fine. But those Qatari are still holding on this corner. Axes in, as those Foxes ended up sadly breaking. But a lot of these Sarmatian warband, as well as some Daughters of the Steppe, some fancy, all-female Oathsworn for them. Move in. Axes pull back to the next line, which is where we're going to want them in this part of this. Yeah, see, they're pulling back because they're like, shit, we don't have the men for this. We were hoping they would commit and we could surround and crush those Triarii, because 80 kills with only 8 dead and 41 kills with none dead. Javelins in, so we're going to try to javelin as well. You can tell they're Pila based off those javelins here. Those are traditional javelins, as you can see. There we go, we've torn through the initial armor, which is really nice. Which is a good use of these Sarmatian warband, which are very heavy melee infantry. I don't think they're the strongest. That bow horse got a little too close to the sun, got targeted by those Syrians, which is sad. He's trying to bait as much ammo at this point as he can. He's at nearly 40 kills, which is nice. Another volley. Come on, get another kill. 40, nice. Yeah, over here with 3 units of infantry and an archer, it's about even. So what ended up happening is this giant ballista tried to break the wall, tried to kill a bunch of these units. So I had to crush them. So they do know about one more Numidian rider, which is why that Hippeus is moving back. But we have nearly 4 Triarii in. He's replacing some of the injured Triarii, which is a really nice move. There's that fight versus the Guerrilla. I'm not winning that. Yep, I end up losing a lot more. They've lost 10, I've lost 15. My unit's a bunch smaller, so I'm going to run away and go back inside. Over here, the skirmishers are just playing around. They did give Galatia trauma and convinced Galatia in the next match you're going to see on next Saturday to test them out. And hopefully you like them. They're my favorite. They're my favorite ranged unit. With regards to, of course, the Cimmerian heavy archers. Summation heavy archers coming on in, firing to that Oathsworn, which is a very dangerous threat. Looks like we do have one last unit of Foxes. We're going to try to hold that Oathsworn in place with some of the weaker units, so we can shoot them. But over here, Daughters of the Steppe are now in, and they'll do some pretty good damage against the Triarii. Are they going to do the best damage? No. 100 kills, 116, 80 kills pretty much, 64. This has been taken. 4 units Lovey are being suspicious. I don't think they noticed me moving into there properly. So they still think I'm hiding somewhere over there. Carthaginian cavalry is around, just trying to bait with them. Just distract them as much as possible, waiting for an opportunity to hit into those guys. But a bunch of archers are firing into the Syrians, forcing them out, which is going to become a big play for these Carthaginians, hopefully. Scutari are standing here. The Libyan infantry that were on the corner have now moved over here to just try to support against the Triarii. So we're going to try to get the Daughters of the Steppe out so they can rest. Galatian sword's moving up, while a noble sword comes here on the flank. And he's just testing the water, seeing if they notice him. And they don't. So, it's time for a melee cab to show what he can do. They've just noticed now, so Colchis is pushing back and pulling his spears up. Nasty, nasty charge against the Galatians, who are losing their rapid fire. Their quick reload, which is going to exhaust them. Carthaginian cavalry is going to pull back. I mean, they've lost 2 men right now and are at 77 kills. And going to get a rear charge onto these Easterns and break them. They're gone. Now they're going to head on in. They've lost 3 men. But they're at 124 kills. A lot of fire coming in. They're not losing too much. They're down to 70. 69, nice. They lost 1 more. Which is I mean, that is a really great. They pretty much wasted a quick reload on the enemies. That one's trying to still fire. This one's got probably the one with more ammo, trying to break as much as they can here. Oh my god, that was a hell of a volley. Now the real threats, though, are these Oathsworn and the Bododina at the moment, as well, of course, the Triarii. Colchian nobles are scary, and they still have a good chunk of them. But those are the real threats we're looking out for at the moment. Letting the Daughters of the Steppe rest. Same with these over here, just let them rest up while the Libyans are trying to hold back the tide of Triarii, knowing they're going to lose. With Dacian heavy bowmen coming in, try to hit them in the flank. 181 here, 147. 153 here, 116, and 19. Now, I will say, I had to bring a Libyan up here to deal with this Cartley. Because, you know how long ago that Cartley was? He's still up here, fighting his little heart out. Now that my Libyans are actually starting to get in, they are losing now. They lost one of the Sarmatian warband, but the remaining two are also very damaged. So this ended up being very costly for us as the defenders and a very big victory for the attackers. They're just being targeted again by more archers, the Libyans, which is fine. Those eastern archers are about to die. I decide, you know what, enough's enough, just charge in. Wrap around, get behind them because of how small they are, and hopefully cut these guys down pretty effectively. And if they do want to volley, hit into the Colchians. Unit of the Daughter Steps are back into the fight, or did stay in the fight that whole time. Triarii up to 191. Oh gosh, 242 on that unit of Triarii. I did maneuver my elephants out. They are noticed, so I am going to just tease with them a bit and hopefully do something with it. And this is where the first minor mistake comes with my elephants a little bit later. I do something dumb. But this is where I mean that, then here's Carthage going to be another MVP. He's getting his archers up onto the wall here, in range of those Hippeus Lancers, which have 50 men left in. Those Noble Blood are down to 28, so that's not as much of a threat, but that 50 Hippeus Lancers is. And one volley here. I think that was the second volley. The first volley killed a ton of them, nearly 25 of them. Levy's trying to get as deep as they can, not doing very well. Caught up against the Libyan infantry, which are at 107. This one's only at 58, but they're fighting Triarii, so, you know, hey, you take what you can get. Noble Sword's able to push because of the second wind, now that they're fresh again. Yeah, here it comes. Archers right on in. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Eastern archers are not looking healthy. Gallic hunters, though, still have the ammo. So, the second phase of this fight, now that we've pretty much consolidated how we want, they're going to try to break through. Our next hope is to kill the archers, because that's going to be our next hope at victory, because they do have complete archer supremacy. It's going to be tough for us to win when if they have archers and we don't. Elephants getting in. They did lose a lot to the levies. The levies did get a decent amount of kills. 7 kills against elephants, which, I mean, that's more than paying for themselves. But these elephants themselves are about to pretty much wipe out 2 units of javelins, which is fine, because these are the cheaper elephants. One, it keeps the other elephants safe, as well as the good elephants, the Indians. Because that's what I'm really hoping on, doing the real damage at the end of the game. Why not my little African elephants? They're up to nearly 300 kills, but I think they're going to die there. Some insane kills with the Triarii, but the Legionnaires are coming in, which such a solid mid-tier coming in is going to push us to our limits, so we're going to need these Noble Swords to support. These skirmishers we're covering the flank here to make sure, because Escalation Sword was kind of coming up here and going around. They were debate them there. These guys are going to come in to support. They're at 203 and 182. This elephant's 1. Nice. Mercenary Samnites are about to get into the flank here, successfully cutting into the side. Now those Galatian Legionnaires are going to hit the Samnites on the side, but we have the Archer support here and the Javelin support, so this would be not the worst spot. And it is forcing those those Triarii to back off, meaning it's not now a two-front fight. Those nobles are still holding the middle, 184 there. And some heavy archers are now able to get over here, fire into the Legionnaires. Some of the Triarii are still there. Yeah. Healthier Libyan is trying to hold out. They have 150 kills, that's nice. Elephants here. Those guys, I'm just trying to keep them back because I keep getting discovered for a second and then backing off, so I'm just trying to keep them back so they don't get discovered. But the play is going to be prepared soon. Numidian cavalry is coming up. Basically the gamble that I think could win us, one of the ones that could tilt the battle heavily in our favor, because it has been slightly in our favor most of it, but has now started to turn into the attacker's favor. To avoid the archers, I do back up. And I commit these guys into attack. You know, there's 3 of them left. Might as well just kill this levy. I want to eliminate any chance that they're going to be... I'm just going to kill them, knowing that they're going to die. Yeah, they were so weak that the volleys are just killing them. I'm just trying to keep them to keep going. But they don't, and they end up just getting shot. Basically, I'm trying to get them into the Syrians. For whatever reason, they do that multiple times. That's the second time they've done that. So they drop, they went berserk, and then they're gone. So this is a very good spot for my elephants to be at. They're far enough away to be safe. I make a big misplay, to be perfectly honest. Or I make the minor misplay. I push these guys way too far back, or just slightly too far back, I should say. I think they're way too far back. But effectively, they're too far back. I did try to go out initially a little earlier when they were closer. I messed up. So I just want to use them for their javelins to help support this flank at the moment. And the reason these guys end up too far back is I push them back to make sure they don't get shot as these guys start to move up, and then I forget about them. But javelins coming in over here with these guys, trying to do some damage against the Oathsworn. Which they are. Noble swords coming in against that Triaria, which is now too small to use a box formation, or their square. Noble fighters moving for that flank. Daughters of the Steppes in the middle. That Triaria is at 310 kills. But you can see, I moved them all the way back to here. I probably should have just moved them to there. But it's time to make the play. Noble cavalry coming on out. As mercenary Samnites are now committed there. Fighting in the center is pretty even. Colchian Noble's not doing the best. They're against things like Noble Swords and basically Oathsworn. But the Noble Cav is getting shot at. They're going to try to stop it with the cavalry, but no, they're not. Just into all 4 of the archers there, and they're going to just look at those kills rack up. And they're going to continue to chase those boys as 2 new units of Numidian riders start flowing through. And the elephants start moving up, and they're too far away. You can see how slow they're moving. They're very tired. Now they're exhausted. Mercenary Numidian Cav is still just flowing in, doing as much damage as possible. They hit the Noble Blood Cav. This one gets kind of stuck. This one doesn't commit to the charge because they realize I broke through. Hit those Syrians. Those Numidians are still going. And I win that fight, and guess what? It's time to get into the other unit of Syrians. And these elephants are still far away. Over here is a big play to just eliminate this entire block of units. If I can do that, then it's a victory. They're exhausted and red because the general just died. Numidian's still holding out 150 here, 116 here, 26 for that general. And probably if they were where I thought I should have put them, they probably would have been getting into the back of this noble horse right about now and just crushing it. And you're going to see why that ended up being a minor misplay a little later down the line. Noble fighters pull him back. Noble swords here. This Triarii are still going 117 kills. These Triarii, 16 men left, 338. But all the infantry's done, so elephants, I mean, they have to commit to the charge. There's no way out. We're going to see that scary spearman I was talking about. Those guys are monsters. Get a charge right into some of those noble horse. Get a few of them. Just cut down a decent amount. And the elephant's coming on in. Right into that claw of troops. With the cavalry counterattack, just say a 45 bonus versus large, which is insane. More go down to archer fire, more go down to those glaives. And a lot of them get stuck into the glaive unit. And since they're so loose, they don't take as much damage as, let's say, Galatian Legionnaire or Roman. 4 left, 160 kills there. That Carthaginian cavalry is just waiting for the right time. And the big misplay... Oh, look, the gorilla sword for a second. And he's pushing back off. The misplay, I think, ends up being... The big one is the Indian war elephant just sticks too far into the back. For too long. We probably needed him, not now, but in a minute or two, when a lot of the infantry's gone. Because that will allow us... That would have allowed us to sweep the middle pretty handily. But the Carthaginian cavalry is going in. They're at 100. They were at 126 kills. I mean, look at that damage they're doing. Last units of the elephants. 176. They got 4 more. They're about to just be carved down. Yep. Last one, 181, and they're gone. And the misplay is that cavalry. My misplay is that noble cav is now at 68 men. Which that Indian war elephant would have definitely helped against, but now we don't have... You're about to see how the cavalry can be effective and why I love cavalry on attack. We've seen a lot of how cavalry on defense has been very effective. I mean, this one's at 191. My Numidians got around. Same with the Shadows of the Steppe. Even those Iberians and bow horsemen just harassing and delaying. Look at this. This gap here. Noble horse are going to be able to... Yep, they're remaneuvering. There we go. And right on into... These archers are out, but these archers back here are not. They're going to be able to bowl through them and keep going. Right into these archers that have ammo. These need to get away. We're going to try to get the Carthaginian cavalry in, but they're caught up, all of them. That's where this elephant would have been useful. Hit these, wrap around, crush this front in the middle, then move on down. But that cavalry gets away. They still have they've lost 20 men, which, with the kills that they have, I mean, they've done a great job as noble horse. That Triarii is still holding on. 41 kills. Or 41 left. That unit of noble fighters is down to 136. These noble swords, which normally would lose to Oathsworn, got a beautiful charge on the these Oathsworn that they weren't expecting. Now with some archer fire, that's going to be some pretty dangerous stuff. And noble horse is to 38, but 217 kills is nice. Legionnaires are going to continue to be able to just push. That's, again, elephants would have been able to do that. That if needed. Or just straight on down into all these guys. But over here, the Oathsworn is losing. Over here, the Samnites are losing. So it's pretty toss bag. They're still not on their way. And that ends up being very, very big. Now they're on their way. And you're going to see why. The downside of that. He waited a little too long for the usage of it. Noble fighters are moving up to plug this gap, so the noble horse can't get in, but the legionnaires are coming in behind, and there's no more infantry. There's no spare infantry that they can use. Frenzy charge, nice. Giving them an 88 charge bonus, which is insane. Yeah, they're cutting pretty handily through those Sammonites. But these noble fighters have to flank around, hit these legionnaires. Now arrow fire into the back is perfect, going to do a ton of damage, but now this javelin. But now this flank is opened up, the Bahudina, and this one has 159. This is pretty much the beginning of the end. I say the beginning of the end, this is pretty much the end, obviously. Because these guys, though they're hidden, I mean, they're not the fastest. Those Spear Brothers are gonna... 17 kills. Those noble fighters just got hit with a pretty hefty bit of ammunition. 25 kills on those Spear Brothers. These Dacians are just now shooting. But cavalry's in the front fight, and it's going to stop their shots. The Dacians are dropping pretty heavily. And this is what I mean. Pretty much the last unit of infantry left is that noble sword. They're doing their best to hold out, and they're doing a great job. Dacian bowmen there. Try to get a few more kills. Elephants popping that headhunt. Or trample. Second too late for that reset of abilities to pop. Oh, that's the morale one. The other one's the reset of abilities, which is slightly too late. They were at 58 kills. They broke through those noble fighters. Don't get me wrong, these elephants still do a great job. And they tear through some pretty heavily armored units. I mean, that Bahudina, I mean, they got a chevron for 36 kills because of all the elephants they actually ended up killing. Got 121. These guys are now out of ammo. It's the Galax that came back that ended up doing it, which is another reason why mine was a misplay as well, because it could have fully crushed all of them. This one ends up being a misplay for him being a little too late. If you've noticed any else, let me know. But we're just going to watch these Berserk elephants just die. And there it goes. Let us see how everything goes. All right. Let's just ignore my kills for a second, which were nice. Inora's also got very good kills. Pump Elifan did a nice job, but let's see how Joe did. 113 on his mercenary noble fighters, 155 on those Indian war elephants. 204 on that Carthaginian cavalry. And for most people who play with Carthaginian cavalry, you still tend not to see them do as well. They're pretty decent, around like almost like a citizen cav level, maybe a little stronger cavalry. When it comes to melee, a lot more useful. You see them more on land battles than on sieges. Credence got 147, 124, 152. Though my favorite cavalry is the Iberians because they're the fastest. They're really fast, and they have 50 melee attack for 350 gold. I heard Arabians are pretty good as well. One late Libyan actually got 45. That's impressive. Samnites 191, 113, and 137. And Scutari 136, 121. So no Libyans in this army. as mentioned at the beginning, but pretty good on its own. Next up, we have Ninja Keeper here. Ninja Keeper is Gatey, 192 here, 136, 192, 107. All nice on those noble swords. One of his axe warriors got 100 kills. That one Foxman that was at the very beginning got 128. The other one got pretty decent on another one, and then poor on the last one. His Dacian Heavy Bowman, 113, 205, 106. This poor bow horseman. They did a great job at harassment, though. Next, we have me as Nova Carthago. 227 on that Numidian Noble Cav. 218 and 181 on those mercenary Africans. And when it comes to Numidian Riders, 176, 154. Skirmishers, remember, neither of these skirmishers had over 100 kills when they finished their javelin volleys, but 217 and 187. Then Libyans, oh, so close. 77, that's actually really nice. But when it comes to Libyan infantry, 168, 118, 102. And again, just one off. And Norris with his Sarmatians. Daughters of the Steppe, don't mind the fact that they have spears. They are an Osworn unit. I would have liked them to have spears and be a really cool spear unit, because that would have been fun. But 218, 103, and 156. Those heavy archers, 117, 157, 145, and 186. This is Samartian Warband. Some of them did really well, actually. 219, 143, and 171. And that Shadow of the Steppe, which is a very expensive guerrilla-based cataphracts unit, 227 kills. So they did add guerrilla cataphracts, hell yeah. But let's look at the attackers. We have Pump Belly Fan as Colchis. So one of his Eastern Archers got 143. And these Colchi Nobles, 232, 248. So nothing to sleep on. That one was still just healthy. 76 for a Hillman, that's impressive. And then when it comes to Cartleys, 127, 111, and 156. Smart Hawk here playing Galatia. 263 here on that Noble Cav. Great Noble Horse, nice job there. 101 on those Syrians. 114 on those Legionnaires. 229 on those Legionnaires. 135 on these. 346 kills, holy shit. 116 and still completely healthy, 143. Then those swords, 159 on one of them. And poor Levy Freeman, they just got charged in the back. 0 kills. Trains here. Those Batodina, now, they don't have the most amount of kills, but it was mostly against... they killed a good deal of elephants. 128 there on that Osworn. 105 on those Celtics. 191. Galax didn't end up doing anything too crazy, neither with those Scout Riders or Light Horse. But finally we have Nice Rice, who just made it over the hump and got the most kills in the game by 15. Congratulations. 5 Triarii, so 237, 150, 288, 251, and 346. Those levies, that one got 47, that's impressive. Ensis Principes, 243, 260, 122, and 102. And those poor Rorari. So, actually more men than I thought he brought. What is the difference? Let's see. That's 5,000. That's another 5,000, so 10,000 men. About 8,000 to 10,000. Yeah,